Early voting's underway, of course. We encourage you to get out there and vote. Although I would say if you don't know the issues, truly if you're not informed, I don't think you should vote. Our KWEL listeners are informed. By the way, we'll be on the air election night. We'll be bringing you the local, statewide, and national election results. We'll be here, Mark Christian, Brandon W. Hodges. We'll have interviews with candidates and live reports from all around the area. So that'll be election night. Bear that in mind. Early voting is on right now. I'm going to talk to a candidate running for city council in Odessa. A lot of issues going on there, too. And joining us on the radio now is Tom Sprouls, and Tom is running for city council. Tom, good morning. There, we got you. Tom, good morning.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Tom, you are running for, obviously, city council. What district?
District 4.
And tell us where that is. District
4 runs from the northern part of town where the Beaten Bow homes, the new homes are being built there. The Loop and Andrews Highway would be the northern point. It runs down. It includes the mall and Permian High School. It spreads out at that point and runs down to University, cornered by Grandview and Maple.
Lots of things are going on all around the Permian Basin. We got this boom thing going and facing a lot of challenges and such. And by the way, if you would like to talk to candidate Tom Sprouls, candidate for Odessa City Council, we'd be glad to have you on the air at 620-8700. Tom, I think this may be your first dive into the political pool. Is that right?
The last election I ran for was president of student council in high school.
Well, that hadn't been that long ago then.
It's been a while.
Tom, what leads you to run for office?
When you see the dysfunction we've had going on here in Odessa, you realize we need a voice of reason, some common sense brought back to the council. We've done some really crazy things here. A lot of the issues, and listening to Mayor Morales here before me, a lot of the issues are the same for all municipalities. We all want fewer taxes. We all want better police protection. We all want better fire protection, better garbage collection, better highways. But you know, it's a balancing act, and somebody with some reasoning needs to be on the council to address those issues.
I know one of the big issues has been redistricting and probably adding another councilman, letting the mayor vote, and these sort of things. What are your feelings about those?
Well, I am in favor of those propositions. The reason I say that is because it only gives the citizens at least two more voices on the council, and it also it broadens the thought out and the discussion out when you have more people available to do that. And so I'm for expanding it to another councilman at large. Most cities our size, the Midland and Odessa, have total at-large systems. We happen to have districts in Odessa, and so to have an at-large system makes us more normal than it makes us abnormal.
Okay, now when you talk a total at-large system, then no more district things. You know, that doesn't sound so bad to me.
Well, most cities our size have at-large councilmen, so you know it's not a bad system. So I have no problem with it. Us having an at-large candidate on the city council here in Odessa.
All right, Tom Sprouls on the radio with us. Tom is a candidate for Odessa City Council, and a lot of issues. You know, we talked to the mayor about potholes. I'm sure that's an issue in Odessa. What about that?
Absolutely, it's a problem. You know, and it's one of those never-ending problems, especially with the weather we've had here recently. The more wet weather you have, the more potholes you're going to have, and the faster they're going to grow. And so it is a problem we're going to have to address.
Tom, is there a system in place in Odessa that you're aware of? Do they get out there and regularly fix the potholes or seal coat? You know, we hear a lot of stories about seal coating and all that sort of thing. I don't think we do that anymore, but are you aware of what they're doing?
No, I'm not. I have to say, I don't know what the there is a policy for repairing potholes. I'm not sure what it is.
I know there's a lot of development going on in downtown Odessa too. There's a movement there, economic development, and a new hotel in there. What are your thoughts? Do you support tax dollars for economic development?
Well, when you consider infrastructure, that is economic development. We just happen to be narrowing the focus a little bit more downtown. But that's what the city does, is provide economic development so that the city can grow and the city can maintain. So, and I do support the downtown project. I think this current council is trying to get this TERS passed, and I think it's a good deal. I think the additional tax monies, if you understand the structure of those TERS systems, then you only use the increase in values to return back to that small part of the city.
What else is going on in downtown Odessa? I know that there's been talk about revitalizing downtown Odessa. Is that going pretty well?
Yeah, I think it's going real well. Everybody knows we need more hotel space here in the Permian Basin, and certainly that's going to be a winner. But I believe that there are no viable cities in the U.S. that don't have a vibrant downtown. You need that downtown nucleus for the city to feed off of, and we need it too.
Yeah, vacant buildings at a downtown area do nobody any good.
That's true. That's true. We have places that need to be certainly addressed and improved. Parking is always an issue downtown, but that's something that can be addressed also.
It is 9:15 now on AM 1070 and FM 107.1. We get a lot of calls and comments here, and there's a big issue with the high cost of rent and housing and hotels and all that kind of thing. We've had people suggest the city should step in and somehow put some kind of a cap or whatever on rent and apartments and all this sort of thing, which I think is totally an antithesis to capitalism. But what are your thoughts on that?
Rent controls do not work. Go to those areas that have rent controls, and nobody's happy with the things. To say we need affordable housing is very easy. It's easy to say. The question is, what in the heck is affordable housing? Because it may not be the same thing to Craig or to Tom as it is to someone else. But I would be in favor of spending a limited amount of the taxpayers' money to do a study on what it would take to start a development. What would it take to attract some HUD housing? Anytime you go in and you completely renovate a blighted area, there are still renters that live in that blighted area, and where are they going to go? How are we going to take care of them? And so I'd be in favor of a study to try to understand that.
And so is there quite a bit of that in various parts of Odessa right now? Just really rundown place? I'm sure there are. There is in every city. Yeah,
every city's got places, and I would support. I'm not in favor of eminent domain, condemning property for private uses. Now, if we want to use it for public uses, then I understand it. You have needs sometimes. The government needs a highway or a road through a particular area, and I support that eminent domain. But to have an eminent domain so that we can build a mall, I'm too conservative for that.
All right, Thomas Sprouls on the radio on AM 1070 and FM 107.1. Then you are a Republican.
I am a conservative. If you're going to vote in the primaries in Texas, in West Texas, you have to be a Republican. So, yes.
Okay. 9:18 now. What about What about? Do we have enough policemen in Odessa? Do we need to do something about that?
We need more policemen, and I know this is not a city issue. We need more deputies in the county. We need to pay the ones we have better. Those are needs that everybody's got that problem, but it's particularly acute in Midland and Odessa because of the competition for jobs. We need to be treating these guys better. One of the things that I am going to try to accomplish is to meet with every department manager within the city on a quarterly basis and see what goals they have for their department. Because people perform better, they enjoy their jobs better if they have some idea of what their boss expects of them. And so possibly to improve the morale of the city, I think we need to set some goals within those departments.
What about the tax rate? Tom, you happy with the tax rate? Could that be lowered? Should it be raised? Whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I serve on the Exeter County Appraisal District Board, so I understand how the taxes are set. And no, I am in principle against raising taxes. We're going to naturally get some increase in tax receipts by the city simply by the fact that we have additional building going on and additional properties. But in principle, I'm against raising taxes. Never say never. There are sometimes needs that just have to be addressed. But I think all of us pay enough taxes.
And there's probably places, once you were to get in there, probably places you could get in to make some cuts somewhere along the line, too, I would suspect. Sales tax numbers are really quite huge, I think, in Midland and Odessa both. We got this boom thing going on, and so sales tax numbers, in your opinion as a city councilman, what would you propose to use that increase in sales tax money for?
We need to be very cautious about that increase in sales tax because behind every boom is a bust. And we need to be very cautious about what we do with it because, we may not have it forever. I would, however, entertain the thought of using it for our first responders, and all of our city employees, for that matter. We have all kinds of employees here that need a raise. Now, whether we can do it or not, we'll just have to see. I am going to be very curious as I look over the budget. I want to know exactly why we need to spend this money where we're spending it.
Is there any obvious, in your point of view, in your opinion, any obvious places out there where city money, sales tax, or whatever, but sales revenue or city revenue is really being wasted?
No, not yet. I would be afraid of picking on anything yet and not being able to say for sure. I have not spent enough time gleaning through the budget to know exactly where I would want to start for sure.
Tom, I think, too, I do believe you're retired, right? So you'd be able to devote quite a bit of time to city work?
I have plenty of time. I've been told by several of the councilmen that it's a full-time job, and or you can put in all the overtime you want to. So, I do have the time to commit to the city.
Big job, I'm sure, and I always have a lot of respect for those who run for public office. And of course, city councilman makes about $25 a month, maybe.
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Okay. Tom, appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you, and it was quite an honor to follow Mayor Morales.
Well, gosh, anyway, good to have you with us. Good luck. Good luck in the election.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Bye.
Tom Sprouls, candidate for City Council in Odessa.